There's a technique that flips everything you've been taught about manifestation. A technique that doesn't push, it glides. That doesn't beg, it aligns. It's called transurfing, and it's not wishful thinking. It's a method, a movement, a shift in consciousness. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it works, how it changed my life, and how it can finally set your manifestations in motion. By the end of this video, you won't just understand transurfing. You'll be living it. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more content like this. Let me tell you a true story. There was a man, early 30s, working a regular job. Not rich, not connected. Just someone who had been reading, watching, trying to understand how to finally create the life he wanted. And like many of us, he had a dream. A very specific one. A deep, black Mustang GT leather interior, matte finish, 0 miles. He didn't need it to survive, but he wanted it deeply. So naturally, he started visualizing. He put a picture on his wall. He imagined himself driving it. He even went to a dealership once, just to sit inside one. But the more he tried to attract it, the further it seemed to drift away. Until one day, he discovered something called transurfing, and everything changed. Instead of just imagining the car, he did something radical. He let go of the need for it. He stopped trying to get the car and started behaving as if it already existed in a version of his life. He didn't chase. He didn't pressure. He didn't beg the universe to deliver. He made a decision internally. I'm the kind of person who drives that car, not someday. Not if the universe approves, but in a reality that already exists, and I'm just shifting toward it. He stopped focusing on when it would arrive. He stopped obsessing over the money, the how, the steps. He started focusing on becoming vibrationally neutral. He killed the drama. He removed the emotional weight. He took action, yes. He saved a little. He made smarter financial decisions. But more than anything, he aligned himself with the version of reality where that car was already his, and then let the current carry him there. Not by force, not by obsession, but through the quiet power of alignment and awareness. And then it happened. 6 months later, while helping a friend search for a used car online, he stumbled across a private listing. Same car, same color, same specs. But it wasn't from a dealership, it was from someone who had bought it, barely used it, and had to sell it quickly for personal reasons. The price? 30% below market. The location? 2 hours from his home. The moment? Perfect alignment. He didn't ask, why now? He didn't second guess it. He recognized the moment as coordination of outer intention, the universe folding in on itself to meet him halfway. And when he drove that car home for the first time, it didn't feel like a surprise. It felt like remembering. Now, if you think this is about the car, you missed the point. It's about state, identity, letting go of excess importance, choosing your reality and allowing it to unfold without interference. He didn't manifest the car because he visualized harder. He manifested it because he stopped needing it and started living like someone who already had it. And that's the essence of transurfing. Not trying to pull the future in, but moving toward the version of yourself who already lives it. Let's begin with what Vadim Zeland, the founder of reality transurfing, calls the main reason why your desires repel instead of manifest: excess importance. In his words, When you place excessive importance on something, you distort the balance of energy around you. Nature always seeks to restore balance, and in doing so, it pushes your goal further away. Now let me explain that in human language. Imagine you're standing in front of a lake. The water is calm, smooth, still. That lake is your energetic field, a perfect mirror. Now, imagine tossing a huge rock into the water. What happens? You create turbulence. You stir chaos. You break the reflection. That rock, it's your importance. Every time you obsess over a desire, every time you say, I need this to happen or I won't be okay, every time you think, I can't be happy until I have it, you're throwing rocks into the lake. And the mirror can no longer reflect your desired reality clearly. It becomes distorted. It pushes the image away. Vadim Zeland warns that importance is not just emotional, it's energetic pressure. And in physics, all pressure triggers resistance. This is echoed by Renee Garcia, founder of the Transurfing Institute. She says, importance is an energetic imbalance, and the universe hates imbalance, so it pushes back. Every time you declare something is life or death, you're unknowingly activating the force that cancels it. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you're going to a job interview. You think, this is the one. I need this job. If I don't get it, everything will fall apart. What happens? You arrive tense. Your voice trembles. You over-explain. You oversell. You try to control everything. You give off anxious, needy energy, and the interviewer feels it even if they don't know why. That's excess importance in action, and the universe responds to it with one rule: restore balance. So, the outcome: you don't get the job. Not because you weren't qualified, but because you gave it too much power. You meet someone. You feel a spark. Suddenly you think, this person is perfect. I have to make this work. Now you're no longer present. You're no longer yourself. You're calculating every text, every word, every gesture, and they feel it. They pull away not because they're cold, but because your energy screams, I need you to complete me. Again, excess importance. Again, resistance. In Transurfing, Zealand explains that when you declare something as vital, you create pendulum's energetic structures that swing wildly and throw you out of alignment. Your reality becomes unstable. You lose coordination. And the version of you who was naturally moving toward the goal is suddenly off track. Because instead of living as the person who already has it, you're stuck in the vibration of, I must have it or I'm not enough. That's the trap. That's the prison of importance. Here's the key. You're allowed to want things. You're allowed to set intentions. But the moment you turn your desire into an obsession, you block the flow. What you want must feel natural, not sacred. Familiar, not distant. Available, not worshipped. As Renee Garcia says, treat your desire like an accessory to your happiness, not the source of it. Zealand teaches that you can shift your inner state using a technique called creating a slide, a vivid mental image of your desired reality. But here's the secret. You must walk through the slide calmly, not desperately. So instead of imagining yourself screaming with joy in your dream house, visualize yourself making coffee in the kitchen, barefoot, relaxed. Not, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, but this is my life. Of course it is. Neutral, natural, balanced. When you're calm, clear, and neutral, you become magnetic, not because you're excited, but because you're stable. The universe doesn't give you what you desperately want. It gives you what you're a vibrational match for. And to match with your desire, you must stop placing it on a pedestal. Take it off the altar. Bring it down to eye level. Look at it with a smile, not with shaking hands. And then you'll start moving toward each other. Have you ever found yourself thinking thoughts that don't even feel like yours? Have you ever scrolled through social media and suddenly felt insecure, behind, or not enough? 1 minute, you're feeling aligned and clear about your manifestation. The next, you're anxious, comparing, doubting. You didn't just have a bad day. You were hooked by something bigger, by something Vadim Zeland calls a pendulum. What is a pendulum? According to Vadim Zeland, the Russian quantum physicist and author of reality Transurfing, a pendulum is an energetic structure created by collective thought and emotion. Every time a group of people focuses on the same idea, especially with strong emotion, they give life to a kind of invisible energy form. It's like a wave, a current, a living thought form. And it feeds on your attention. Let's say you're having a good day. You're centered. You feel abundant. You're trusting the process. Then you open Instagram. You see someone showing off their dream life. You feel a pang, a little self-doubt. Why am I not there yet? That's not your authentic thought. That's the pendulum speaking. It has pulled you into its frequency. You turn on the news. Crisis, chaos, fear. Suddenly you feel worried about your safety, your future, your finances. That fear doesn't belong to you. You absorbed it from a collective pendulum of fear and survival. And here's the scary part. When you start vibrating with that fear, you tune into a version of reality where that fear becomes real. Because, as Zeland explains, your attention is the fuel that keeps pendulums alive. Why are pendulums so dangerous? Because they're sneaky. They don't ask for permission. They hijack your thoughts, manipulate your feelings, and steer your reality without you realizing it. You think you're making your own choices, but you're just swinging with the crowd. How to escape a pendulum? Here's the truth. You can't destroy a pendulum, but you don't need to. You just stop feeding it. Here's how. Recognize it. Become aware of how you're feeling. Ask, is this truly mine, or was I pulled into this state? That awareness already weakens the pendulum. Become emotionally neutral. Don't resist it. Don't fight it. Just become invisible to it like air passing through fog. As Renee Garcia, founder of the International Transurfing Institute, puts it, pendulums don't care if you agree or disagree. They only care that you react. Stop reacting, and you starve the pendulum. Shift your attention. Redirect your focus to your own path. Do something grounding. Visualize your goals. Take inspired action. Go back to your slide, your ideal reality. Let the pendulum swing without you. Zeland even recommends using humor as a weapon. Laugh at the absurdity. Smile at the chaos. Refuse to take the pendulum seriously. Because pendulums feed on drama, but they choke on joy. Think of each pendulum as a subway line. One leads to fear, one to comparison, one to scarcity, one to power, one to joy. And every time you react, you're boarding a train. You don't have to stay on the wrong line. You can get off at the next stop. You can switch tracks. You can choose your reality. The transurfer doesn't fight the system. They surf it. They don't resist the waves. They ride them. They walk through pendulums like ghosts, untouched, unfazed, and fully free. And in that state of detachment, your manifestations flow effortlessly because you're no longer giving your power away. Let me ask you something. Have you been working so hard to make something happen? You visualize, you hustle, you focus, you repeat affirmations. But still, nothing? You might be using inner intention when you were supposed to be using outer intention, and that difference is the key to real manifestation. Inner intention is your personal willpower. It's your drive, your effort, your pushing, your go-get-it mode. And there's nothing wrong with that at first. We've all been taught to hustle, to grind, to force things into place. But here's the problem. Inner intention often comes from lack. It comes from a place of, I don't have it yet, so I must act aggressively to get it. And guess what? When you act from lack, you vibrate lack. You signal to the universe that the thing is still far away. You enter a loop of chasing, pushing, straining. You're trying to impose your will on reality. And reality pushes back. Outer intention is different. It's not about you acting on the world. It's about the world responding to your alignment. Vadim Zeland explains it like this. Inner intention is the desire to act. Outer intention is the willingness to allow. With outer intention, you understand that your desired reality already exists in the field of variations. You're simply aligning with it, not forcing, not begging, not manipulating, but allowing it to come into form. Imagine your dream life is a radio station. You want to hear the music, right? Inner intention is like shouting at the radio, "Play my song, come on, I want it." Outer intention is quietly turning the dial, adjusting your frequency until you match the right station. Once you're on the right frequency, the song plays. It was always there. You just weren't tuned in. Zeland teaches a method called the slide, which is a mental image of your ideal reality. But it's not just daydreaming. It's living in that image energetically, so that your thoughts, feelings, and actions begin to flow from that version of you, as if it were already true. You don't say, "I want to be rich." You live as if you already are. You shop like someone abundant. You walk like someone confident. You expect like someone who knows. That's not pretending. That's alignment. That's outer intention, taking the lead. Inner intention says, "I will make this happen." Outer intention says, "This is already mine. I allow it to unfold." One is control. The other is surrender with power. And when you start using outer intention, you'll feel the shift. Opportunities show up. People respond differently. The universe moves around you, not because you forced it, but because you invited it. Let me tell you about someone who used outer intention perfectly. She wanted a beautiful apartment in a city where prices were insane. Instead of stressing or obsessing, she made a slide-a-mental movie of herself making coffee in that space, barefoot, relaxed, calm. She started acting like someone who belonged there. She stopped checking listings 10 times a day. She let go of the chase. She lived her life. 2 weeks later, a friend messaged her about a place that hadn't even been listed yet. It was better than she imagined and somehow perfectly affordable. That's outer intention. She aligned, she allowed, and reality adjusted. You are not here to force things. You are here to choose, to align, to allow. The field of infinite possibilities, the field of variations already contains your desire. You don't need to build it, you just need to tune into it. So stop pushing so hard. Start living as if it's already unfolding, because it is. Here's the truth most people miss about manifestation. You don't create your dream life. You choose it. Because it already exists right now, in what Transurfing calls the space of variations, and the way you access that version of reality is through slides and lifelines. Let me explain. What is a slide? A slide is a mental image, a vision of your chosen reality. But not just a dream, not just a hope. It's a vibrational blueprint. Vadim Zeland explains. A slide is a projection of the world that you hold in your mind, and the world begins to reflect it. Think of it as a movie in your head, a short clip of you already living what you desire, not wanting it, not reaching for it, but already immersed in it. And the more emotionally connected you are to that slide, the more powerfully you shift your vibration to match it. Let's say you want to be a successful writer. Inner intention would tell you to hustle, write a book fast, pitch agents. Outer intention with a slide looks different. You sit quietly, and you feel yourself walking into a cozy bookstore. You hear your name being announced at a reading. You smell fresh ink. You see your book on the shelf. You feel calm, certain, like it's done. You hold that slide. You revisit it every day. You live your current life, but from that version of you. And slowly or quickly, reality begins to rearrange to match it. Lifelines are different versions of reality, different tracks that already exist in the space of variations. Every emotion, every thought moves you to a different lifeline. When you feel anxious, desperate, or unworthy, you shift to lifelines where those feelings match the outer world. But when you align with your slide, when you act, think, and feel like your desire is already real, you begin to slide over to a new lifeline. Zeland puts it this way: you don't need to fight for happiness. You need to align with the lifeline where happiness is your natural state. Imagine every lifeline as a radio station. One plays sadness. One plays stress. One plays abundance. One plays deep love. Your slide is like tuning the dial. The clearer your image, the sharper the signal, the faster the shift. You're not changing the world. You're changing which version of the world you experience. Slides only work if you feel them. It's not enough to just see the image. You have to become the version of yourself that lives that image. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy begin to mirror your slide, you move into resonance with a new lifeline. It's like a train track. Your vibration decides which train you're on. And every morning, every choice, every reaction either keeps you on your current path or shifts you into another. Be careful. Some people use slides incorrectly. They create images that remind them of what they don't have. They dream with desperation. They look at the life they want and feel sadness because it's not here yet. This creates excess potential and pushes your desire away. That's not a slide. That's resistance. True slides feel natural, relaxing, like remembering something that already belongs to you. Remember the story from chapter 1? The man who manifested his dream car. He used a slide. Every day, he would sit in silence and imagine himself inside that car, hands on the wheel, music playing, sunlight through the windows. He didn't need to know how. He just visited that slide until it became emotionally real. Then the lifeline shifted. He met someone. A job opportunity opened. Within 2 months, he was driving the exact car without debt, without struggle. That's not magic. That's alignment. You don't have to earn your dream reality. You don't have to chase it. You don't even have to fully understand it. You only have to feel it, live in it energetically, and trust that lifelines respond to vibration, not effort. So ask yourself, what slide are you holding? And what lifeline are you on? Because today, you can step into a new one. Let's be honest. This is the part where most people get stuck. They dream, visualize, make slides, say affirmations. But then, they obsess. They keep checking. They worry. They panic when nothing seems to happen. They think they're manifesting, but they're just feeding a pendulum of doubt. Why? Because they haven't truly let go. When you keep thinking about your manifestation 24/7, when you keep checking your bank account, your messages, your results, you're sending a signal to the field. I don't believe it's coming. You might say the words, but your vibration is mistrust. You're not living as if it's done. You're living as if you're still waiting, and that waiting becomes your reality. Think of it like this. When you order something online from another country, a package you've dreamed about, you place the order, you pay, you get the confirmation. What do you do next? You go on with your life. You don't sit by the door every day crying. You don't email the store every hour. You don't doubt the delivery, because deep down, you know it's coming. It might take 2 days, or 2 weeks. Maybe customs will delay it. But it's on the way. You trust the system. Your manifestation is no different. Vadim Zeland writes, "The more importance you give something, the more resistance you create. Obsession is excess potential. It distorts the energy field. It creates turbulence in your reality. But when you relax, when you say, 'I've chosen this, and I trust the field to deliver,' everything begins to flow. Opportunities appear. People align. Ideas click. Because your vibration becomes magnetic, not desperate. A lot of people get confused here. They think letting go means stop wanting it. They think detachment is apathy. No, that's not transurfing. Letting go means letting the field do its part. You've already placed the order. You've already tuned into the lifeline. Now you walk in confidence knowing it's yours. You take action, but not out of fear. You visualize, but without clinging. You move forward as if it's already unfolding. Think of life like a river. You're in a boat. Your slide is your destination. You can either paddle hard, fight the current, and exhaust yourself, or you can align your boat with the current and let the river carry you. You still steer, you still choose, but you trust the flow. You don't panic when the bend is out of sight. You trust the process. Remember the story from earlier, the man who manifested the car? There was a moment he nearly ruined it. After visualizing for weeks, he started doubting. He said, "Why isn't it here yet?" He almost gave up. But then, he remembered the rule. Detachment activates delivery. He stopped checking. He focused on other areas of joy. He went out. He had fun. He lived. And the car showed up, not through effort, but through trust. Here's something you can do. Every time you feel yourself getting anxious about your manifestation, close your eyes and whisper, "It's already mine. I trust the field. I release the how. Say it again and again until your body believes it. You'll feel the shift. You'll feel lighter. And that's when things begin to move. Because reality bends for those who stop forcing it. So far, we've talked about vision. We've talked about lifelines. We've talked about letting go. But now, let's talk about something most people misunderstand. Action. Because transurfing is not about sitting and waiting. It's not passive. It's not lazy dreaming. It's about moving in flow, acting with alignment, not anxiety. What is inspired action? Inspired action is not forced. It doesn't come from fear. It doesn't come from, I have to. It comes from inner knowing, from clarity, from intuition. It's when you feel pulled, not pushed. It's when an idea lands and your whole body says, yes, this is the next step. Let's compare. Forced action is heavy, stressful, full of resistance. Inspired action is light, smooth. It feels like flow. One drains your energy, the other expands it. Forced action says, if I don't do this, nothing will happen. Inspired action says, this feels right. I don't need to know why. That's how the universe works with you, not when you're fighting for outcomes, but when you're following the breadcrumb trail of energy. There was a woman who wanted to start her own business. She had the dream, the vision, the slide. But nothing seemed to happen. Until one day, she had a random urge to go to a cafe she'd never visited. She followed that urge, no reason, no plan. There, she met someone who later introduced her to an investor. 3 months later, her business was fully funded. Coincidence? Not in transurfing. That's outer intention guiding her, and her willingness to act when the door opened. Zealand calls this process catching the wave of success. It's like surfing. The wave is already forming in the field. Your job isn't to create the wave. It's to see it, feel it, and ride it. How? By staying present. By tuning into how you feel. By being open to subtle nudges and unexpected paths. This is not blind trust. This is conscious co-creation. Many people block their blessings because they wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the guaranteed outcome. But the field responds to motion, not perfection. Small steps, taken with joy and curiosity, open huge doors. Sometimes the path won't make sense at first. Sometimes you'll feel unsure. That's okay. If the action feels light, exciting, peaceful, follow it. That's reality calling you forward. Ask yourself each morning, what does my soul want to do today? What feels light, joyful, and free? Where is my energy flowing right now? And take one step in that direction. Not 10, just one. And watch what unfolds. Everything you desire, the money, the love, the success, it already exists right now in a version of reality that's just one choice away. You don't have to push the door open. You just have to see it and walk through. Inspired action is the moment your soul says, let's go, and you listen. You choose your slide. You align with your lifeline. You let go of control. You act in flow. You don't beg. You don't force. You don't chase. You move with reality, and reality moves with you. Because the universe isn't against you. It's been waiting for you to relax, choose, and trust. Now, you're ready. Manifestation isn't magic. It's not luck. It's science and an art of alignment. You don't have to force your reality anymore. You only need to choose it, trust it, and walk toward it with calm, inspired steps. If this message spoke to your soul, subscribe to this channel, because here we go deeper. No fluff, no hype, just truth and technique. And if you're ready to manifest your dream life, drop your name in the comments. We include every name in our circle of energy, our prayer of positive intention, because together we're elevating this planet to a higher dimension of consciousness. You're not alone. You're on the path now, and your new lifeline has already begun. I'll see you in the next video.